Multi-billion-dollar market of sports endorsements might be getting even bigger. NBA center Jason Collins making history this week. He's come out as the first major male professional athlete to be openly gay, and Nike is already on board with Collins and seeing big dollar signs. While Collins might have been the first athlete to come out, he certainly won't be the last. So how does this change the endorsement game as well as the entire professional sports industry? Joining me now is Mike Bako, sports editor at the Daily National. We also have Bruce Turkel, executive creative director at Turkel Brands. Thanks to both of you for joining us. Mike, let me start with you because we're kind of setting aside his place in history and talking about the money of it, because that's what this show is all about. And when I heard this struck me as a very clever move from a financial perspective. I mean, it focuses a lot of attention on him. What do you think? Is he going to make money on this?
I think he'll definitely make money, and he could probably extend his career. We're talking about an NBA veteran who, if you ask the casual fan or even someone that watches basketball, they would probably have to go on Wikipedia to even find out
who he was. And that is what happened at the time. I mean, when we heard the announcement, I was surrounded by basketball fans who said, who?
Who? I mean, most people remember him because he had a twin brother. He had somewhat of an illustrious career at Stanford, but not a player that the casual fan would know. So now we're looking at a situation where a 12-year veteran might be able to go to a big market team. He might be able to go to New York or Brooklyn or Los Angeles, a more progressive city.
Based on his reception, not on his playing? I mean, because at the end of the day, isn't that what it's about? It's about making baskets?
It is, but in his case, he has the extra advantage of what he's known for is being a hard worker, a good teammate, someone who a coach can depend on, and that's not going to change. Whatever his sexual orientation is, you're looking at a player who has a great background in Stanford, has been with 8 teams in 12 years, but teams want him. They want that type of hard-working player. He does the dirty work, so this may bring on his career.
Bruce, he had all that before. Is he even more valuable now?
Of course he is. You know, a good shot in the NBA is you hear someone yell out all net. Well, it's going to be all net profits. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Nobody cared before. They knew him for foul shots. Now they know him for taking a stand, for being who he really is, and for really making a difference that was due and long time coming.
Would you go as far, either of you, I mean, Mike, let me ask you, would you go as far as to say that this was calculated? I mean, was the timing, he's a free agent?
I wouldn't think that it's calculated. This is something that he's really had to wrestle with for many, many years.
The timing?
The timing of it, I don't think. I think this is a guy who has a lot of integrity, a lot of intelligence. I just think that this is how he wants to live his life. I think he'll be perfectly content if he doesn't play in the NBA anymore. I think this is how he wants to live his lifestyle, and it just so happens that he's a free agent towards the end of his career.
So that's talking about, you know, what team he's going to play for and how valuable he is on the court. Bruce, off the court, he has to be extremely valuable. I would think at this point, I mean, is America at a place where somebody like Nike jumps on board because he is somebody who's breaking new ground? Or are we not as progressive as we think we are? What's the truth?
No, that's a great question, Melissa. We are at an amazing point in history. We're watching history unfold. 5 years ago, he couldn't have done this. The teams weren't ready, and I hate to say it, but the country wasn't ready. 5 years from now, nobody will care. But right now, it's pivotal. This is a road to Damascus moment, and he's going to be the guy who did it. Nobody else can be the first player in a major league team to come out while they're playing. He is it. It was a brilliant move. I also agree that it was not calculated because he could have probably gotten more play for it.
I'm sure you're right. I have to ask the question. You know, I mean, it's my job to be skeptical, so I certainly have to throw it out there. Mike, do you think that this is the moment in time to do it? I mean, is America far enough along to really embrace this, even, you know, everywhere in the country?
I think just look at the reception that it's already gotten, whether it be from celebrities, professional athletes, even the general public. You know, there's been some backlash in social media circles, but you know what? This is going to be a good test subject, but he's not the best test subject because he's not a star player. He doesn't have to go up there at bat, or he doesn't have to go up there to shoot a free throw or something like that and be jeered by millions of people like a Kobe Bryant. We're talking about a guy who's probably going to sit at the end of the bench, even if he does play.
Okay. All right. Thanks, you guys. And before you go, Bruce, I got a little something here. I don't know if we can see it somehow. We had a bet a little while ago, some steak and cheese. We were betting on Harvard in the NCAA tournament. They did win.
I lost the bet.
You lost the bet, and you were supposed to send me Noakes steak and cheese, Pinocchio's in Harvard Square. Always my favorite. I got bad news for you, buddy. I don't know if you can see the screen, but the bomb-sniffing dogs here at Fox, ripped it to shreds. All of it. All of it. I'm so sorry.
Steak and
you said
cheese,
it,
a whole cheese pizza.
It's a tragedy. You said, look at it. It's terrible. You sent us such great stuff overnight. The dogs destroyed it. So actually, now that I think, I'm not sure it counts. I got it. You know what? Everybody out there, tweet me. Does it count? Did Bruce pay off his bet, or did our bomb-sniffing dogs ruin it here at Fox? Bruce,
I would send you more, but now I got to think the pizza delivery guy's got to be afraid that he's going to get cavity search. How am I going to send you more?
That's right. I don't know. Maybe we'll have to meet up in Boston. All right. Thanks to both of you for coming on. We appreciate it. I don't think I'm going to eat this. No offense, but it just looks pretty horrible. Anyway, one of China's hottest car makers